Teaming doesn't work unless you've got senior advisors willing to be the bulkhead of those teams. They're the ones that are a critical component of those teams. And their greatest objection by far is, I don't want to manage. I don't want to manage teams, therefore I'm not going to do teaming. So there's a misconception out there in terms of, if I'm going to commit to doing teaming, then I have to get involved with being a manager. And it couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, my reaction to them is, that's the last thing I want you to do, is to manage. The reason we do teaming is to allow you to do more of what you want to do, that you came into this business to do, which is grow and develop your client base and serve your customers at the highest level. But your success has now actually prevented you from doing that at the highest possible way. So when I'm asked about leading and managing teams, and I'm asked by the senior producer, the best person to do that role within a team is the manager or coach or a combination of the two to support the team and all its advisors and staff. Over the past 2 decades of working with teams, what I've learned is there's no one way to do it. In fact, the more that you are open to tweaking what a team can look like, the more comfortable that advisors will be as they establish teams. Teams do not have to look like that team over there or that team over there. So there's a certain amount of customization that can be built in to what teams ultimately look like. And by the way, that's very attractive to advisors who are entrepreneurs. So if I could break it down though, there's 3 main levels of teams. And that first team level, I refer to as an emerging team. An emerging team are just advisors that are ready to get together and start to go down this path of being a team. They begin working with one another. They begin to establish an operating agreement. They begin to establish ways to do business with one another. They begin to establish marketing strategies. But it's all on a very introductory level. Those teams, by the way, we see experience 5 to 15% vertical growth. So even at the beginning levels, they're still outperforming those that are doing sole practitioner models. That quickly emerges to a formal arrangement. And in the formal arrangement, they're getting a little more structure. They may begin now investing in support and sharing support. They have a more structured arrangement for roles and responsibilities. They have clearly defined vision with actionable items. They have the beginnings of a new client acquisition plan and a client management system. Those teams in a formal arrangement, we see those teams experience 20% or greater growth. And then you get to the final level. And this is an established team that has established formal arrangements for operating arrangements. They have cost-sharing arrangements. They have significant investments in support staff. They have champions of formal new client acquisition systems and client management systems. And they have clearly defined roles and responsibilities. So those teams we see achieving 30% or greater vertical growth year over year. So there's a progression of teaming. There's no one way to do it. And I think there's an evolution that goes into developing teams, and that makes it more comfortable for advisors to venture into a teaming environment and not having to be at level 3 right out of the gate. Enjoy the progression. Enjoy the ride as you're going through those levels and you're customizing what your team ultimately will look like and it will evolve year over year over year.